Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of Good to Game Radio. I'm your host, Vance, and joining me as usual are my co hosts, Clint and Tony. Also, joining us tonight, we have a very special guest joining us all the way from sunny California, Baron. Hi, Baron. How you doing today?
You know what? I'm living the dream. We're gaming. My ignition coils, I had to change them on the car, so I actually didn't get to play as many games as I want. But life is good. Video games are fun.
Good. That's good to hear. Clint, how you doing today?
Can I just say that I think every time lately when I've been asked how I'm doing on this podcast, I say that I'm living the dream. Every
dream,
time.
dream is stolen, snatched.
And when I was a working man, we discussed amongst ourselves that was the code you used when everything around you was horrible. So I
Right.
hope that
ah,
that is not the case.
Right.
okay. You know what? That's funny. I will say it's not horrible, but I'm functioning. I'm floating. The parts I bought and put into the car did not work. It made more codes go off, so I
Oof.
ended up having to take them out, and now I got to take them back. But the old parts weren't bad. It's just you guys know when you're fixing something, it's like, oh well, there's
Yeah.
four things to fix. I'll just fix two.
Right.
But then it's like, well, eventually you're gonna have to fix the other two. So I was like,
Exactly.
oh, let me just replace those two. And I was like, okay. And then the parts ended up not working. So yeah, but it's not bad. I'm floating. Everything is good.
It
My
just
kids are happy. Wife is good. There's food in the fridge. Power's on. I got internet and Game Pass, so
Oh,
I'm
he got
living.
internet. What a dig. What a shot.
man,
What a shot.
Oh
you
no!
spoke the name.
I wouldn't even.
What
No,
a
it's
shot.
happened. I have to explain it to the audience
Right,
now.
right.
Baron just joining us straight to the digs. Tony,
I didn't.
our loving friend Tony, is
Mm.
having
My
internet
bad.
troubles,
I'm sorry,
and
Tony.
he's here.
Yeah,
He his
I
his
didn't.
camera won't work
yeah.
because he has no bandwidth, and he
He's
can maybe utter a word here or there. But we will be using this opportunity to relentlessly roast him during our podcast today. Because what's
right.
he gonna do about it? You know.
My bad,
Exactly.
Tony.
Hey, he said, "Nice shot." Oh man, yeah. So for everybody that doesn't know, pretty much nobody knows. We met Baron in the airport. We had just came from PAX. Everybody's trying to go home, and he runs into Tony after the checkout. They had a contraband on him.
Duh.
Uh, yeah,
TSA beating us up.
yeah, TSA, yeah. TSA was holding him up, and say, hey, you went to PAX? Yeah, I went to PAX, and we just struck up a conversation, man, and Baron, tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Okay. Let me get into the elevator speech spiel. Hi, I'm the communications director for Lv1gaming. We're a minority owned and operated gaming news site. Everything from reviews to news. Now, I just added that part like in these last couple weeks, and I like that. So that's gonna definitely be on the next set of business cards. From reviews to news. Um, but we so level one gaming is the whole platform in itself was built to give people a chance. That's why it's level one. Start from the beginning. If you have a passion for writing, or if you've ever wanted to get into any type of gaming journalism, this platform is definitely a place for you. Always tell people, I was like, at this point in time, there is no pay, but there is plenty of opportunities and plenty of space for you to be as creative as you want, as long as it's not illegal or immoral, and you can stand behind your own words. Because you will, like, I got ripped apart for calling out Rockstar and saying that Outriders needed to be on Game Pass in order to be successful, and I ended up being right.
Right. Uh,
Baron,
yeah. Yeah, Clint, he plays Outriders. Tell us your experience.
so
Clint.
before I talk quickly about Outriders, I
Right.
need to let the audience at home know that when Baron gave his introduction, he looked directly at the camera with a smile. It was so professional. So it's almost as though I'm a little ashamed right now. Either way, Outriders.
Oh yeah.
Why didn't I play Outriders at the start? Was it that it was like, oh, there was no crossplay or something? It was really like
Yeah, it was
screwed up at the
janky
beginning.
with the
No
crossplay.
audio either. I literally had
The-
an hour and 20-minute conversation with my buddy on the
Ooh.
phone while we played because there's no audio.
Ooh. There was also issues of inventories being wiped.
Yeah.
There was a lot of cheating, which I don't know if they ever got rid of. Like we came across a couple of people who were one-shotting bosses, like just running through levels, just one shot, one shot, one
I
shot.
saw that like
Um,
6-7 months after it came out when I started playing and everyone had quit. I saw that only a couple of times though.
but what I think what ultimately was the big hurt for Outriders was they sold it as a gas or a games as a service, but it is not, and that's the strangest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like the marketing behind it, the push behind it, the whole aspect of releasing a looter shooter in today's world. um Outside of games, like I want to say even Borderlands is not a games as a service, but that would be the last non games as a service looter shooter that I think that still functions and is still successful. I don't I don't see. I mean, who else? Like, who else does this? So I
Nah, I
think
mean, well, looter shooters at this point too is just like Destiny 2 is the one that's like out there. Like Anthem kind of was similar to that, wasn't it? But that was a failure, if memory serves.
over promised, under delivered. I wish they would have toned down, tamper expectations.
Yeah,
Stop promising the
yeah.
world. Stop trying to be the Destiny killer. A friend of mine, he always says a shout out to T Jones. He always says, a friend of mine is basically he's my brother. But he always says games mess up as soon as they say they're going to be the Destiny killer. That is like the worst curse. That's like playing Superman. Like it's the worst curse you could put on yourself. It's just don't aim to be a Destiny killer. Just be a solid looter shooter that's fun, that keeps people engaged. And but Outriders, they mismarketed. It they had weird loading screens or lack of loading screens, like with the weird transitions in between jumping over bridges, like going into
Dude, that was
yeah.
so bad.
Oh, it was so bad. Oh, hey,
Tony,
Uh,
say some words.
Some words. Can
You got 'em.
hey, crispy.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Finally.
we got him.
We got
Oh
him.
man, you got the internet
Yeah.
up, huh?
Finally.
Nice.
Let me tell you what Amy just told me, right? So she
It's his
said,
wife, Baron. If you
my
didn't know.
wife, Amy,
Got it.
but she has to get a dig in on me all the time too. Between these two guys and her, I have no peace
Hey,
in
real
my
quick,
life.
I just want to remind you that you're old. You can continue now.
Thanks for the reminder. No, she walked outside. I'm sitting here like listening to you guys, and I'm like, moping and feeling sorry for myself because I can't get in on the podcast. And she opens the door back and she says, "You realize you left the garage door open?" I'm like, ah. It's like you were so caught up in coming in here and setting up your podcast, whatever. She's like, "This is God telling you your priorities are in the wrong place at this moment." I'm like,
Disagree.
really? I'm that speech right now.
Right. Right. That's
But
it,
funny.
and then you close the garage, and then the internet
yeah,
works.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
that's exactly what happened. That's
Someone's trying to tell
exactly
you
what
something.
happened. I had to get your priorities straight speech and put God and Jesus at number one, and everything is fine. Okay, we're good.
Right.
I said, I said my
Love it.
apologies, and here we
I
are.
love it.
Baron,
So-
how you doing? It's great to see you.
Man, look, I'm glad you're here and accounted for. No, I'm doing pretty good. I'm actually, I gave the whole life is good, and it come to find out car parts and ignition coils need to be changed out, but functioning,
Awesome.
no,
Functioning,
Nice.
He's here, right?
Yeah,
present.
awesome.
Something for us all to be excited about.
Right.
Right.
Um,
Look, let me do the
hey,
hand wave for that. Here.
back to Outriders. I'll tell
Ooh.
you that we have discussed this at length on the podcast, and I never really thought that I was a very opinionated person. Boy, was I wrong. I've realized as I've been doing this podcast, because I have an opinion on absolutely everything. None of it matters, but I have an opinion for some reason. The worst thing about Outriders, what did they
Mm.
call that mechanic? Mounting, or the cover mechanic. The entirety of the end game was rushing through these timed trials that you had to do as fast as possible. And one of the mechanics they measured was time in cover, because they created a game based around the like Division or Division 2 type cover mechanic
Mm-hmm.
that did not fit in the game whatsoever.
At all. You're dealing with aliens and superpowers that
Yeah.
go through these walls. But
And they throw
my
those
bad.
grenades over, like, and they every one of them is
So
like a
did
hole in
they
one every time.
did they ever shrink the grenade radius or no? Because I
I
haven't
don't-
played it in a very long time, and that was the most outrageous grenade radius. And then
Huge.
everybody is Tiger Woods with the ball with the grenade placement. Like it's
Right.
ridiculous.
And then
Uh,
they were really bad about flanking you. I mean, you couldn't even stay in a spot, dude. You was just
I'm gonna say I don't agree with that. I think you just needed to get good.
get good. Okay.
getting a better cover.
Hey, I'm an
No,
old man, all right? I'm doing the best I can.
We appreciate
I,
it, Tony.
I Outriders was one of the first games where that I played that I can think of where it felt absolutely necessary to min max.
Oh
Like
yeah.
like if you were not min maxing, you were getting left booted out of parties. You couldn't accomplish the in game expeditions. Anything you. We put so many hours into Outriders. It's I want to say Outriders when it first. When did it drop? Was it 2020?
Yeah, it was March of 21 because it was about 6 months after the new consoles released. It
There
was
you
one of the
go.
very first big
It
releases that were coming out at the time.
that actually pushed me to get my Series X because I was slowing down the parties with load times. When we were
Oh,
playing
that
out.
is because you all share load times. I remember that.
Yes, yes. So they could not do anything until I fully loaded up, and I was slowing down the process. And then I got that like bougie sense once I got my Series X, and I'm like, oh, somebody's in here with an OG Xbox. Like
Oh, I
I
didn't notice.
I did. Oh, immediately, and then everybody be like, "Yeah, so this is what you used to do to us," and I'm like, "I'm so sorry."
Right.
Like I don't. And it's that game. It okay. Let's talk about the fact that there's monsters they show that you never fight.
Are there? Okay, I don't
Yeah, the
remember
giants.
that.
Those giants.
I don't remember the giants.
Mm.
But if
The
you say
giant
you fought
walker
them.
things. Like if you go boot up the game right
Oh
now, the
yeah,
first
yeah, I know what you're talking
there's
about.
a whole
Oh,
giant
yeah,
that they
yeah. I
focus
remember what you're
on.
talking
There's
about.
there's even a whole scenario like a cutscene with it. You don't
Right.
fight it. If
It's
it
because I
wasn't,
killed it before you got to it, Baron.
thank you. You know what? I like that lore. We're gonna stick with that. And there was something else that was seriously, I don't know. And then there's certain classes got screwed over. I don't know if they ever fixed it. Like they completely got nerfed. Like you're a what? What were they? Demolishers or
Trickster,
Oh yeah.
Demolisher, the flame
The
Oh.
guy,
Pyromancer.
Oh
Pyromancer, yeah.
yeah. And then the Technomancer.
The Technomancer was like OP for almost
You
the
had a
entire
turret.
time.
Yeah, you got turrets.
The turret could apply buffs, and then you could do the action skill where you'd add the whatever gravy to your bullets or whatever. But any kill would replenish that stack, whereas like the other ones was very difficult to get gear to allow that to happen. Man, I like when I finally got to the appropriate level, I was knocking out CT-15s all the time, and I'd do carries and stuff just because I'm like, I want to do it. Let me just open it up, you know?
Yep. Getting the what were they called? What were the resources that would drop? You know what I'm talking about,
I'm
the
not going to be
in-game,
able to
the
help you,
in-game.
but I know what you're
Yeah,
talking
the in-game currency.
Yeah.
I just, and then the fact that the stores didn't refresh and drop different loot fast enough. That was
Right.
ridiculous.
I think they never did until an
Yeah.
update, and then they started.
Oh.
And the update, I started playing that game 6 months after release because
Right.
Tony had already quit playing it. Why did I not play that, Tony? Oh, I didn't have the new
You
Xbox yet.
Oh, were they shaming you
no
with the load
no.
I
times?
don't
It was
remember.
because remember
Oh, the
we were
audio. It was
all
all
going to
those
play it.
things I
So
got
I'll tell you the
grandstand about.
backstory of why you didn't play it. All right. So when Outriders was doing their marketing, and we were all going to play it on PlayStation because we all had our PlayStation 5s stuff, and that was the one we were talking. Let's play this game. We can co-op it, you know, and whatnot. And then 2 weeks before the game is supposed to drop, Xbox comes out with it's on Game Pass. It split our party. It split us up
Right.
because you did not have an Xbox.
Did not have an Xbox.
So you always have said that. I've had an Xbox for like 8 years or something, but it wasn't the new one, and it was in my closet.
We didn't want you holding us back.
I
man.
gave it to my nephew though, so I can't just like completely discredit it as like a useful device because then that makes me just a horrible uncle who's giving horrible gifts, right? So it was a super fantastic gift I gave him that I didn't want to use anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It makes
understandable.
me feel better about it.
Okay, so I gotta ask. I don't have a PS5, but I will say,
Wait, is there one of these buttons that does shame?
yeah, no, please, yeah. Womp womp womp. No, but I don't have one because I can't just walk into a store and get one, and then I don't feel like fighting the internet anymore for like digital queue lines, and I'm not doing it. I'll wait because at this point I feel like I can wait until there's a collector's edition or I still think they're going to do a console refresh. Right. There's just so much that's going on. Like I think they're going to have external SDs or SSDs. I think there's just so much they're going to compress it. Like we all know PlayStation does console refreshes. Every console usually gets like 3 or 4 versions. Right. Like on the low end. Like so I'm at the point now where I feel I can wait, but I do know I'm gonna be waiting for a very long time because of chips and all that other.
Baron, do you know what your problem was there, sir?
What?
You hadn't met Vance yet. Vance is a professional at getting PS5s.
I was waiting on one of y'all to say it. I thought it was going to be Tony, but I was waiting on one of y'all to say it.
You're the guy. He's like, all right, when do you need it?
He was magic fingers on the cell phone apps. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter what,
I be working.
Hey,
my
I
thumbs,
got one.
Working my thumbs. Yeah. I'm like, hey, I got one who need one.
Or do you be following like the live feeds and whatnot? Like, or do you really be in it?
No, you know what my wife does. She follows the live feeds. Yeah, got it. Yeah, she's like, oh, Target's. She'll be like 10 minutes or what like that. We're like, I'm like, all right, we'll see. We'll see. Then I check my notifications. Sure enough, I was like, man, somebody got insider information. But yeah.
Insider trading. This guy got somebody working in the back of Target.
Right. Hey,
they're it's all random announcement. They're here.
Right.
What was that Walmart website that was up for a little bit?
Seeker.
That's how you got yours.
Because Tasha texted me the link, and then I got out of bed at 7 p.m. Old man again, kind of stuff. Out of bed and drove down to Walmart and accidentally skipped in front of this lovely family to get it, and I got the last one. They were jabbing. They were chatting with someone else at like right in front of the electronics section. I walked right past them, and then right after the guy goes, he's grabbing mine from the back. They're like, "Oh, we just sold the last one." I was like, "Oh, did they notice me going past them?" like
terrible.
Sorry, dude.
Let's go. Right. But so the whole point of me even bringing any of that up is once I got my Series X and experienced the shortened load times, I have not turned back on my PS4. Because for one, I got an OG PS4. It's not a jet engine one, but it's like a step above. It's like it's a skipper, like it's a little one. It's not a but I can't do it. Right. I cannot. And then most of my games on PlayStation are like hardcore RPGs, crazy loading times in the areas, and So I have an extreme PlayStation backlog right now, waiting for when I get a PS5. So
Right.
I just, but I don't know. I like what I want to wait. I feel. I think I'm at that. What is it? The sunk cost. Like I'm at that point where it's like, okay, the moment I go and buy a PS5, they're gonna announce a collector's edition. I
Right.
just believe that deep in my heart, and I'm thinking we're either gonna get one for God of War, or we're gonna get it for Final Fantasy 16. Like, I'm thinking they're gonna come, and I
Right.
refuse to miss out, especially since I've waited this long. This is probably the longest I've waited for a generation, like a new generation console,
You just
as
you
an
gotta
adult. Like,
you
Right.
gotta buy one now, and then in 2 weeks when the next one comes out, you just buy one again.
right? Look,
Right.
This
no big deal.
this
Just
is like
You can't even.
when
business
Tony
expense.
is
Write it off.
You,
Tony's like Tony will explain to me difficulty he's having in games, and I'll just ask him, "Have you tried not dying?" And he never seems to have thought of that. It's like the most obvious
Oh,
strategy. I don't know. I don't know.
thanks for the advice, Clint.
I always
Right.
got your
Yeah,
back,
hey,
buddy.
I just can't imagine though. We've been playing Elden Ring pretty heavily over the
Mm.
last few weeks. I cannot imagine playing Elden Ring on a PS4. I would have quit already. Like 2 minute load times every time you die. No.
Oh.
Tony, have you
Oh,
tried the not
Right.
dying strategy?
I've
Come on.
tried that, Clint. All
Right.
can
right,
you
it's not
imagine?
working for me. Okay.
Could you imagine a hidden frame like not doing its proper thing just because of like the power of the console? Like just like you should have missed that. Like,
Right.
but you didn't, and it would drive me up the wall. Like, no.
That was a thing
Uh,
with Modern Warfare in Warzone when
hmm
the
Oh,
Series X came out. I saw side by side screenshots of
people are getting
whatever
destroyed.
regular Xbox versus Xbox Series X, and what you would view from the same exact perspective was wildly different.
Right.
So
It's
that,
and then Lord forbid the tyranny of frames. Like
yeah,
you somebody working with a 4K ultra liquid LED whatever with premium gold tipped HDMI whatever's
Right.
on God's internet with like and then
Right.
wired controller, no ping, no anything, and you're sitting there with your standard Wi-Fi booted up, bro. No way,
Right.
no way.
Right.
Like they are literally. I had to explain it to somebody, a friend of mine. We went on a work trip, and I told him because he played on a pretty. Now he's like all in, but he played. He used to play GTA Online or Call of Duty on a basic, pretty standard TV, standard internet. And I explained to him, I was like, this hotel we're going to, they have nice setups. I was like, you're gonna play better, and it's not that you're better, it's that it's gonna be rendering faster. You're gonna see people faster. You're gonna see like everything's gonna be moving more fluid. There's gonna be less of that ping that and I'm like, dude, you're gonna play better.
Right.
He was like, my KD went up, and I was like, yeah, you're gonna play better because it's just I can see you, and then the game knows that I see you, and the bullets are gonna hit you. Like it just
Mhm.
there's so no.
Yeah.
Certain games I refuse. I'm not doing that to myself. That's why I don't play too many shooters on PC. Even though I got a decent PC and I can run just about any game out there, I'm not. You're more, yeah, it's skill, but then you're also playing against like people's setups. Like,
Right.
when they had a Modern Warfare had a free weekend, and we were all in. We all got Damascus and all that on when this game came out on console.
ooh,
Tony was the second, but you
Wait, the
gave it
second what for the
to get
Damascus?
Damascus
Oh.
because he just chickened out at the last minute. Either way,
Mm,
um, but they had a free weekend, and so I went to my PC to play because I only ever played it on console. So it's mouse and keyboard, which is not my normal. I destroyed, dude. Like I was in a shipment, and it's like how when you're on a controller and you start getting shot in the back, and you just give up immediately because you're dead.
Right.
not on a mouse and keyboard.
That quick.
Dude,
Oh,
I was
bro.
literally hitting like the jumping 180 to like a slide kills like while I'm getting shot in the back, and I'm like, what is this, man? Like these
Yeah.
are the people I'm playing against.
You're hacking.
Like,
You're a
Right.
hacker.
oh, I was
Yeah.
hacking so hard, man. It was like
Right.
And it just
ridiculous.
the flow,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. And then I didn't understand because I usually like to play with a tighter elbow. Whenever I'm run, like I like to crank up the DPI. I sound like I do a lot of tech stuff. I promise you guys, I don't. I
We don't
sound like I
believe
know what
you.
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I promise you, I don't. Anything I know how to talk about, it's because I broke it and had to fix it or pay for it. Like that's the only reason I know anything about it. So clicking buttons on my new mouse, I've had to figure out what DPI was, and so I'm sitting here like wrist flicking, just getting across the whole screen, and I'm like, oh, this is amazing. And then come to find out, like I had to get like a elbow, like of course, tyranny of age. Uh, but I had to get a whole like elbow armrest thing and a wrist thing because of the way I play. I was literally tweaking my arm, and like I didn't think nothing of it. I was like, oh, and then all of a sudden I'm walking out of my office like legit injured. Like, come on, coach,
That's
take
a
me out. Like,
that's on the job injury, right?
Right.
yeah, right. And so I'm all putting in for the
Comp for
EAP.
that.
But
Right.
yeah, I'm all putting it in. I'm like, hey guys, but yeah, so somebody told me they were like, yeah, well, the way you play, you have to like now everything in my office is like super level, so I can like sit a very specific way because it's the way I play. But oof, when you're on PC though and you're moving and it's it'll make you feel like you know what you're doing.
Thanks, Baron. Now I gotta go spend $2,000 on a new PC. Like,
Like,
why would you even do that to me? We
I'm
just
sorry.
met.
I'm so sorry. Don't hey, look, just don't be like me who bought his whole setup to play one game and does not play the game at all.
No, I did that in 2013. That's what I'm using
yeah.
right now.
That sounds like Clint.
Right.
Yeah.
Tony, do you remember like 2 weeks before I quit my job, like career job, right? I texted you, I'm like, should I spend $5,000 on a VR thing to talk about it on the podcast? And I was fully expecting you to say yes, and I was just ready to click buy, right? And then you said, do you really think that's a good idea if you're just getting it to talk about it on the podcast? I'm like, oh, I guess not. I'm like, I guess you're a good friend. And then I, just decided to walk off my job a couple weeks later.
The Oculus Quest 2. Look, guys, if you think about getting VR and you don't have it, just get the Oculus Quest 2. You can go because a lot of people bought it with not understanding that it's still fairly not new tech, but it's not as much out there as people think there is.
Mm-hmm.
At least on the grab and go aspect. Of course, when you plug it into your computer, you get access to the Oculus app, and then you can plug it up to Steam, and there's just thousands of games to go in on. But as in the grab and go aspect, it's not for everybody. It's still very niche. But seriously, that's been the coolest investment. That's been one of the coolest things I've bought in the last couple of years. Like this morning, I didn't feel like going to the gym, so I get on my elliptical and I just throw on the Oculus, and I was playing Zenith. It's a VR MMO, and I'm all running around grinding levels as I'm riding my bike. And then
I'm
what else do
working.
I play? Yeah, hey, oh, and that was another thing too. They got an app called Immersed on there, or a program called Immersed, and it's supposed to help you like hyper focus. I'm guessing that's the big selling point. But I put that bad boy on, and the original scene they throw you in is like you're sitting on a satellite in space. You're all just deep space, sitting on a satellite, and then you get 5 windows, and you sync it to your computer. So I turned my 2 monitor system into a 5 monitor one. I'm watching a friend play Skyrim through OBS. I'm doing my 9 to 5. I'm have my emails open over here, and then I got a see-through thing for my keyboard. Got a see-through thing for my coffee. I did a whole work shift in VR. Like, wife brought me lunch. I ate lunch like with the headset on. Like it just
was your VR lunch the same as your in real life lunch?
You know what? See, that's got to definitely be the VIP package, where you got to pay the
Right.
so much per month, because that would actually be pretty interesting.
Right.
I really believe VR is. I used to think it was corny. I used to think it was cheesy. I knew there were great games out there that existed, but I just felt it was it wasn't enough to make me want to get into it. But Demio, Demio is what really pushed me, and that's the Dungeons and Dragon, the D&D Light VR game, bro. It's not even as close to being as detailed as like a D&D experience in terms of the actual game, but gameplay, but just the whole idea of being able to throw dice, move the board around, have random moments happen, monster spawn, the dungeon, the DM is sitting there trying to kill you the whole time, going through the story. Then they have this lounge hangout room where they got like an arcade area, and it's, I think it's up to like 12 or 15 people, and there's a lounge couch, and then there's like a fake Discord board that shows what's going on, and people are playing as they're playing live, and it's just like a chill hangout spot, and it looks like somebody's basement, like a big
So
basement.
the other so you're in there with other players in
Yeah,
VR.
yeah, and then if there's three other people who are like, hey, let's run a level, you can randomize, and then you got to put your hand on this table, and then it activates and you go into the world. It's like, I want to say it was like $20 or 20, was it 29 or 30? I'll say 30 just for the high end.
Right.
Some of the best $30 I've spent. Like it's VR. I think it's going to be the future. I know, completely off topic, but I I, I believe it. I believe it's
So
gonna
Yeah.
10, 15 years
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, and I think it's connected. Well, you connect to the metaverse too, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
there is meta on there. I haven't fully dove into it because it's got a long it's got a long tutorial thing that I
Right.
got caught up playing, because it has a bunch of like mini games in the tutorial to show you the range of what goes on. I think it's
Right.
called, is it Horizon or something like that? I forget the. I think it's called Horizons. I could be wrong, but there's literally a thing to help you with your motion and being in control of the world, where you take a paper airplane and you're like throwing it through rings. And I seriously spent like an hour just throwing, because as you throw it and get it to guide it, it guides into the ring gets further away or gets smaller, or
oh,
so you're all,
okay.
and it's, there's no points, there's no there's no no real
Leaderboard or
prize to
anything.
win or anything. It was just, I was seriously in there for about an hour grabbing paper airplanes and like learning how and it's weird because as I'm like, I don't know if they're gonna be able to see this, I'm like fake throwing paper airplanes. That's how it feels. Like it legit felt, and I'm, thank God I had the wrist things on, but you legit feel like you're really guiding a paper airplane.
For the listeners, he is just very gracefully just sending that plane,
Yep.
that invisible imaginary plane through the air like a gazelle would throw an airplane. Really magical stuff.
But that's how I like. I'm trying to like express it, and that's how it that's how it felt, and it was so strange. And it, thinking, saying it out loud, I'm like, holy crap! I was sitting in a headset throwing paper airplanes. Like, what you do? I'll
Was there
skip
anybody
stones
around
all day.
watching you? Like,
I know my kids think I'm the weirdest thing on earth. I just know it. I definitely shame them any chance I get. They just, I embarrass them. They're like, Dad, what are you doing? I'm like, saving the universe, going to slay dragons.
Right.
So what I've taken from this little jaunt into the VR genre is that when Tony told me not to spend my $5,000, he was actually giving me bad advice.
I don't.
well, was it a VR system you were trying to buy? I thought it was
I
a
don't
souped up
remember. I
computer.
literally did about 90 seconds of research before I sent you that text.
It's all rigged. It's all like the whole crane and
I
like
think I would
a
have to clear
Virtuix
out
Omni
the
set.
guest bedroom.
I'm like, yeah, you
Man.
guys, you don't need this. This isn't for you.
Right.
Oof.
Right.
So, well, gentlemen, I'm excited to ask Baron about some of the articles that I've read from his website. But I don't want to jump ahead if you guys are eager to discuss any of them in particular. I have one that I have to decide if I have a bone to pick with Baron.
Well,
Ooh,
yeah,
this is gonna
so
be
Oh,
I'm glad
fun.
you,
okay,
yeah, I'm glad you
okay.
asked that because I was, just listening to him talking, the things that he talks about. He's very knowledgeable. Now, how does that
Oh, I'm not. No.
transfer? How does that, does it transfer with ease to, let's say, paper or computer as you're writing an article, or do you have
Ah,
to actually go and say, okay, like let me either smarten it up or dumb it down? So do you use a thesaurus, or you just like bump it? Like the
okay.
reader's just going to get it how they put it down.
Okay. That's a damn. That's actually. I'm sorry for cutting. That's actually a really, really good question. And the cheap answer is it depends. So in my opinion, the writing that I like most for myself, which is weird, because I usually don't like looking at my own work in any way, shape, or form once it's done. But the writing that I have the most fun doing is when it's in my own voice. So when I'm basically just like now, if I was just putting this what we're doing now to paper. The one that takes the most work for me, and it's funny because it should kind of be the easiest, is press releases. So the way a lot of things work for those who don't know is when news is out, unless you have like a deep insider who's like leaking sources to you, what you usually do is you sign up for press list, and you get on these press lists, and they'll send out daily emails or weekly emails or whenever there's news to share from whether it's a publisher, developer, or a what everybody uses now. I can't
Studio.
believe
Oh,
a PR firm. So
okay.
most people use PR firms now. It used to be where you would just have a PR person, public relations person, which they still do at a specific company. You'd get cool with them and their team, and then you'll get direct source from them. Um, but oftentimes in the way it works now, because it just seems cheaper to hire outsource than to have a specific team on staff to do it. I don't know if that's exactly the reason, but it, just outside looking in, I can imagine it being cheaper. Um, they funnel it through a service program, and then they send it to you. So with press releases, when they get to us, of course you don't want to just copy, paste, upload, and that's where it gets, not that it's hard, but it takes more effort to go in and like try to take information that you're getting. It's like writing a mini research paper on somebody who already on somebody's work, like not on the person but on their work. So it's like I got to take your work and then put it into my own words without too much of it being copied, even though
That's called
nobody's going.
cheating, sir.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Plagiarism.
Plagiarism is a very real thing, and you do not want to get any type of bad reputation for that at all. So you want to go in and you want to change as much of it as possible. You want to put it into your own context. Try to put it into frame it for your audience. Know who you're looking at and who you're dealing with. Or if you're reaching out into a group that you've never really dealt with, try to get a little more technical. Like I remember one of my most successful articles was one on Genshin Impact. I don't play Genshin Impact. I'm not in the world of Genshin Impact at all. But I knew that it was a really big following, and I knew that the fan base is very serious about their game. So whenever I go into something like that, I do my best to like really try to tighten up. I'm all doing extra research and like making sure this is the right company who's doing this part of it. Make it like I want to say it was the Shin Yun event. Um, I don't know. Yeah, I think it was the Shin. I'm probably butchering it. I'm sorry, folks, if I'm wrong, but it was an event that they just had, and it was a pretty big thing, and made it was weird. It's weird talking about a game you don't play, especially when you really have no idea how it works. So I got to talk about mechanics, and it gets a little iffy, and it's weird because you would think, oh, well, you don't play it, so don't talk about it. It's like, no, well, am I a journalist? Wow, yeah, I'm like,
Own
it's
it.
it's
Own
it's
it.
so
Right,
weird. Look,
right,
it's so
right.
weird to say. So I'm gonna go off a little bit and give a quick background into how I got to this point. So I've always created, not always, but I've created content, YouTube videos, live streaming. Um, I used to do a lot of reaction videos. I love movie trailers. Like I'm a sucker for movie trailers. I think movie trailers show a little too much now, but I still love movie trailers. Like if I miss the movie trailers while going to the theaters, I feel like I missed the movie. It's a weird thing, but it's a very real thing for me. I get to the movies early just to watch trailers. But that's what a majority of my content was. And then podcasting with a good friend of mine. Shout out to my brother T Jones. I keep saying friend of mine, silent assassin T Jones. But we I don't know what possessed me, but I was like, oh, hey, there's this company out there called Lv1gaming. They're pretty cool. Never heard of them, but they seem it seems like a smaller site. I wonder if they would let me kind of just, guest post over there. I don't know why. I used to hate, I used to try to get my wife, my then girlfriend, to like do all my college papers because I hated writing. And it wasn't that I hated writing, it was that I hate busy work. And it just felt so point. I was like, oh, like, and she was like, no, you need to do it. I'm like, please, just
You
so to
said
go
you
from
love
that,
me.
yeah, right,
Right.
pulling every card I got, puppy eyes and all. And to go from that to like waking up extra early to make sure I'm not missing any big news, to sitting here writing 1,500 word reviews and really caring about it. It's just such a strange thing, but getting there. So back to the point. So I go off tangents a lot. I apologize, guys.
Yeah, no one on our podcast ever does that.
Oh,
Ever. We
like we
never
were
do
talking about
that.
apples and end up on tennis shoes. Like,
Right. Right.
I've done far
but
worse.
oh, so look, I'm all really trying to refocus back in. So I actually hit up David. Shout out to David Fame. He's the head of Level One. And I felt like such a weirdo because I was like, hey, I DM'd him and I was like, hey, I've never written before, but I'm interested. Is it okay if I send you a sample? And he was like, sure. Now, like I told Tony in Vance at the airport, it's not the no's that I for me at least, and I feel like for a lot of people, it's not the no that's the scary part. It's the yes. It's hearing the yes. That chance of like, all right, get to work. That's the part that scared me the most because as soon as I sent the message, I immediately hit up my homeboy Travis and I hit up my wife and I was like, what did I do? Like, why did I do this? Because the first thing he responds is, oh, sure, here's my email. Send us what you got. What? Like that, yeah. So my first article, something that I argue about to no end, and I'll fight and fall on this hill. GTA 5 is the bane of Rockstar's creativity. It's the curse of the golden goose. This is what happens when you create the perfect game. It prints money, and there's absolutely no need, rhyme, or reason to work on anything else than to better GTA Online. And for them to do or better anything else is simply because they got a team of people who want to and they got the money to do it, not because they have to. GTA Online is a lifestyle choice. It's evolved into more interactive Sims. It Wow, that is a good way of breaking it down.
Yeah.
It really is. It's a life in itself. It's a world in itself,
Right.
and it's become almost a social media platform.
Yeah.
I mean, people have car shows. Like people legit have car shows in GTA Online.
Yeah.
But what people need to understand is the success and massive money printing that is GTA Online and GTA 5 has killed the creative juices of Rockstar. Because before GTA 5, you had in the last 10 years or 7 years before, I don't even think 10. I'll say 10 just to give that space. They had 13 IPs. Everything from sports games, car games, racing games, to RPGs. You had licensed IP stuff, the Warriors. You had and these are all games that stand and hold up on their own, even without a Rockstar label. Like people still play Bully. People still talk about the Warriors. If they did a remaster, I'd buy it full price, collector's physical edition right now. I still think that's one of Rockstar's greatest games. You had Oni. I think they did the American version of Oni. It so many titles, but then you look at 10 years past GTA 5. There's only been 2 games. Uh Red Dead Redemption 2. No, just that's it.
Yeah, just Red Dead.
I don't Red Dead. And then all the different iterations of GTA 5. GTA 5, folks, has been on 3 generations of consoles.
That's deep.
Not
That's
3,
deep.
not 3 platforms. 3 generations of
But
consoles.
it's crazy because they still are near the top of the charts as far as
Every
sales.
month.
It's crazy.
Every month. It's almost like once you're born and it's time for you to decide your class, and the gods say you're a gamer, you're given Skyrim and GTA 5.
Yeah.
And then that,
Yeah.
and go, my child.
Yeah.
Like,
to support your example, I mean, I was at work yesterday, and one of the employees that I work with, she was telling us about, yeah, I played this game with my boyfriend. We just started playing. It's called GTA 5. It's great. I'm like,
it's a 13-year-old
yeah, it
game, lady.
is.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, she said, and she said, well, she said, when I became an adult, I quit playing games, and then she broke up with her ex, and then she's with a new guy, and like they play games, and there's so many games she's never played. She's like, this GTA is great, and then she's like, and I want to play Skyrim. I'm like, go for it. I'm
It's
like,
just like, it is like, they're beautiful. Look, I can't speak ill on them continuously selling it and remaking it, because I'm one of those people who've bought Skyrim 4 or 5 times. So I can't knock them, but it's just like, holy crap. Like, what have we become? We're monsters. But that was my intro article about how it's just, is it the curse of the perfect game? Is it a curse, or is it the perfect game? Like,
When you said that at first about I can't remember your phrasing already, unfortunately, but no, you said that GTA 5 was like the bane of Rockstar or something to that effect. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, I really liked GTA 5 when it came out, and like I played it, and
yeah.
I'm like, where's he gonna go with this? He goes, oh, it's just too good for for its own good, and that makes sense to me. And we talk about it that it's still making ridiculous amounts of money.
but
Hand over fist.
and it's
Like,
true. It's true for not for other studios too. I mean, look at Sony. Look at Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog is trapped in this loop of The Last of Us.
third person over the shoulder, deep story, heavy cinematic moments. They have to, and I feel bad because I almost believe they would have to create a subdivision to release a new style of game, to get from the ire of everyone waiting for the next deep cinematic experience from them. Like,
Just keep doing it, just like you're doing. Man, Last of Us Part 2 is like my absolute best single player experience. I felt so many feelings. I did
oh
not
yeah,
know it was
100%.
possible to experience emotion at that level, even in real life. I'm not like
Yeah, no, it takes you through it.
I've been dumped and didn't care about it as much as like what's gonna happen with Ellie. Like
Yep.
it's
Yeah, my
crazy.
greatest single player game is Pac-Man.
Ooh. Ooh. Hey,
no,
no,
but
but
You could have been a little bit more progressive and chose
nah,
Mrs. Pac-Man, but
no.
okay.
Hey, but it's funny though
Glump, glump,
because I
glump,
seen
glump.
a post about, like you said, GTA 5, and I think it came from like the studio, and it was like GTA 6 developer hasn't even been born yet.
Yeah.
Like
I
That's crazy.
like
mean,
we're gonna
That's
ride
funny.
this till the wheels fall off.
yeah. I do, just like funny enough, speaking of Skyrim, I won't believe Elder Scrolls 6 is like really gonna release until like I get a street date. Like, I will not, just because, how do you walk away from that? Like, when when is there enough money to overrule your passion? like, what is that magic number to where it's like, I just feel silly for doing anything else. Like they keep buying it.
Right.
Like we made the unbreakable ladder that they want to buy over and over. Like,
Take it.
I,
Right. Yeah.
like how do you because we all know a business's point is to make money.
Right.
Like that's where
I
the boards
might
and the
have
humans
mentioned
come
that
in.
once or twice on this podcast. Just
Yeah,
maybe.
I
Say
mean,
it.
hey,
Say it, Clint.
Capitalism, baby.
capital
Capitalism.
man. That's why you have humans on boards, because if it was just up to robots, moving numbers, they're gonna do everything in their power to make profit. And
Right.
the profitable thing is just to keep upgrading GTA 5 or
See,
GTA Online.
your
Right.
mistake there is assuming that board members are humans.
Yeah, I know. I try to give a little bit.
Capitalists are not
Oh yeah,
necessarily humans.
Just
that's why I'm.
like, just they're all, clone. They're all like, what's the company called? CD Project Wrecked,
Wrecked.
Oof,
Yeah,
the
CD
ultimate
Project
capitalist.
wrecked
oof,
Man,
oof.
with their
That was.
abomination.
that was
How
a
do you
tough game.
just set that company up to fall like that? Like that was
It was
just.
all Keanu's fault. He lied about being 6'1". That's what I heard.
No, you're six. No,
Right.
So
I just. Oh, but I'm sorry. So I went completely left field. Back to the original point. Yes, it's difficult to write um when it comes to trying to hit that right tone for different press releases. Reviews, I usually can give a little more of my voice because it is me talking about my experience
Right.
and trying to make sure I convey. Okay, when it comes to reviews, I like to look at it from the angle of the average consumer, because we get lost in the sauce of most gamers in this space, most people, podcasting, gaming news space. We get lost and we think that the people we talk to are the norm. We are the extreme outliers. Like the fact that I have like 10 unopened games next to me is a complete outrageous
Preach.
idea.
Preach.
That's we are
Preach.
absurd.
Right.
The average gamer buys 4 games a year. Like that's somebody who games a lot. Their Call of Duties, the FIFAs, the random big title like Elden Rings, or Ghost of Tsushima, or you know what I mean. Like you got those games that make so much noise that you just have to go and get it. But for the most part, most people buy 4 or 5 games a year. I might buy 4 or 5 games a month. Like, and that's me being very conservative because I'm signed up to Humble Bundle. I'm signed up to like don't let me go down the list. But so when I'm reviewing and when I'm talking about games, I do my best to speak from that angle. So anything you read from me is not going to be super technical because that's not who I am. Even though I talk a good game, like I know what I'm talking about, but that's not who I am. And I believe in worrying about that kid who's like who can only get that game when they got a great report card, or when it's their birthday or Easter or Christmas. Like that's the only time because that's how I grew up.
Right.
Whenever I had good grades, went and got a game. Birthday, I used to get a game in my Easter basket. Like so that's how I grew up. So
Right.
I try to write from that perspective. So it's like, hey, is this worth one of those few games you're gonna get this whole year, or wait until it's like on sale or potentially in Game Pass or da 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 da.
Right.
And so that's the angle I like to take for the average consumer, because there's enough like digital foundries and like I'm like that they got that. I don't even think I talk about frames.
So I'd like to ask your just reference one of your reviews, because when
hmm
I heard we were going to have you on, got the
hmm
link to your website, went through, tried to click on some articles that had your name on it. I couldn't find it again, but the other day I swear, and I hope this was your article, but did you use the word? I'm going to say it wrong. How do you say that? Cthulhu esque?
Oh, Cthulhu. Oh yeah, Cthulhu-esque.
Yes, that was you,
Yes.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
definitely
I
me.
saw that.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm on board. Right? That
Yeah.
was all it took. I was like,
I think I put like Lovecraftian Cthulhu-esque dating sim.
yeah.
Like, yeah.
But here, I'm gonna pick my bone right now. All right.
Let's do it. Uh-oh. I'm scared. I'm like legit like
Now,
worried.
this was discussed heavily on the podcast. Just for reference, just so you understand kind of what you're walking into right now,
Oh
we
Lord.
had the tournament organizer for Kumite in Tennessee on a few months back. Beely is his name, and he does like the fighting game, like Street Fighter, whatever. I challenged him to 1v1 me, bro. Just because why wouldn't I? You just got to
Ooh.
keep it fresh on the podcast.
I'm sorry.
So he didn't, he chickened out,
Oh.
obviously. It wasn't that it was a completely, false and fake challenge. Battlefield 2042, man.
Okay.
I
I
I
can.
I feel
Oh,
like
that's
I
easy.
feel like our reviews are significantly at odds.
Oh
As a
yeah.
person who played the beta and ranted on this podcast about it being the worst beta I've ever played, and it's the only game in the history of the world I've ever got a return on. I don't return pants if they don't fit, man. Like, and I went through Sony's garbage to get rid of that thing because it was so bad.
Hey,
And you
Let
gave
but
me
it like a
tell you.
7.8.
hey, but
Yeah.
the worst
And let me.
part was I'm sorry to cut
Oh
you
no.
off,
I'm sorry. No. Go ahead.
but the worst part was not that he played it. I had to watch him play it through Twitch, and I'm like,
Ooh.
"Oh, look at this! This is so trash."
Ooh.
So like, I gotta sit here and support my boy. Like, oh, this is garbage.
It was like my first time streaming in 9 months, and I did it
Bullets not.
specifically.
Bullets not hitting people.
Oh, it was so far
Map
off, dude.
disappearing.
I couldn't
Okay.
exit the helicopters when I was in them.
Oh.
It just
Let me tell you.
there was not a good thing about the game as far as I was concerned.
No. And this is probably my worst journalistic decision was to not go back and do an updated review. Because I am part of the EA creator program.
I saw that.
100.
I was actually going to
Yeah.
mention that. I saw that they
Yeah,
give
yeah.
you an advanced copy. I'm like, oh, he's selling out. By the way,
Yeah.
don't
Oh,
take that as an
100%.
insult because
Oh
I have
no.
said repeatedly on this podcast that I'm just waiting for the opportunity
I'm
to
waiting
sell
to
out.
show. Oh guys,
Buy
I
my
say it all the
snake oil,
time.
people.
Oh, I say it all the time. I'm so ready to chill out to feed my family with this gaming stuff. 1,000%. But let me tell you this: my biggest mistake was not going back and redoing an updated review because the game that released is not the experience that I had. Because everything that was wrong in the beta, because I believe there was a closed beta and then an open beta. I played and I remember like, dude, the map wouldn't load up. Like you had complete areas disappearing behind like polygons and whatnot. Vehicles, which still happen, driving up the side of buildings, lack of destructibility. But once again, when I review games, I do it from the perspective of a casual gamer. It was fun. I still have fun. I still put mad
You
hours
had
into
fun
it.
wrong, sir. Okay.
And you're 100% right because the lack of destructibility alone made it not a Battlefield game.
Yeah, what was that? And then Call of Duty Vanguard at the same time is coming out with their destructible environments, which is literally wood slats over a door. Like,
It's the craziest thing ever. Who would have thought that a more futuristic and then the whole storm thing? But okay, back to the point because I'm not trying to get out of this because you're absolutely right. And I'm glad you called me out on this.
that's kind of how we
I think
roll at
I
Good
think
Game
you're the
Radio,
no,
sir.
I think you're the first person to call me out about this review. And I appreciate and I'm grateful for it. The game as it stands now, do not go and buy it. Avoid that game at all costs. And if I believe you read my review, I said the portal was going to be the downfall of it.
Yeah.
The portal is a horrible idea. Anything that comes in to spread out your player base is a bad idea. I don't care how you cut it. I don't care how innovative it is. I don't care how much fun it is. The moment you bring something into a game where your whole game's function is based on whether or not you can get people to be in one area at one time for a set time period, why would you create something that isolates people even further and makes it harder to generate? So let's say everything about the game worked perfect. Let's say Battlefield 2042 launched and it was everything it was supposed to be. Take out the storm, add back in the destructibility. They didn't even add the destructibility to the classic modes that you would find in the portal. That's what I really was bothered by too. I was like, dude, these maps were destructible. Why don't you? But Okay, everything works, everything's great. Portal would spread out the player base so much that it would absolutely kill the game, even if everything else was fine. Because everybody wants their special map where they could fly helicopters and not get shot at with rockets. Everybody, see, look, as you guys
Yeah.
can tell, I got a love for Battlefield. Everybody, no auto locks, no lock on rockets, no all this, all that, we don't like C4, so you got a whole lobby full of people fighting to get into a world with no C4 and no anti tank mines. That I think Portal alone would have killed long term 2042, but the game was just stripped of so much of what it was. But the playability at the time that
There
I
wasn't even like
reviewed it,
scoreboards and stuff, right?
no, nope.
Right.
But the playability of what it was during that time frame that I got to play it before the review embargo, I had fun. I
Right.
was like, oh,
Right.
somebody's gonna have a good time with this. Somebody's gonna buy it. They're gonna jump in. They're gonna have fun being in riding next to somebody in a helicopter, shooting out the window, sniping somebody from halfway across the map, summoning in a robot dog that doesn't properly control right and do what you ask it to. But it's just gonna be a fun experience, right? So that's what I. But then when it launched in the updates, it just absolutely tanked. I don't even play it anymore, like
Well,
at
and it
all.
wasn't stream active users, and I'm completely. I'll even say I'm guessing at this number, but I swear it was like 1,000 or something. I
I
mean, it
wouldn't be
was
surprised.
On the PC.
Battlefield
The
on the
PC,
yeah,
it
on
was
Steam, right? Yeah.
the active player base was less than
They
1,000.
they absolutely ruined their own. It you got to think. You got to think about how much of a home run they could have had. Halo wasn't what it was supposed to be.
Yeah,
Call of
so
Duty
many
had
misses.
Call of Duty was caught all that crap what was going on with their office back office stuff. People were
The
leaving.
frat boy
The
culture.
frat boy culture. They were tanking in the news. People were boycotting
But
even
Vanguard
further.
wasn't even that good of a game. Like
But
Modern Warfare was a better game. Cold War was a better game. Like we've just seen the games progressively get worse and worse because they know that we're still going to buy them, and it's
yep. Oh
now
yeah.
they're starting to see. Hopefully, they've learned this year because they gave us so many horrible
Oof.
games, and then they saw what happened with Elden Ring. You know,
Uh-huh.
I'm hoping that's what we get in the future is something that's
I
not hot garbage.
I just hate that Battlefield whiffed it so bad. Like it's not even where it stands now. It's not even that it's a bad Battlefield. It's a bad game. Like
Oh yeah.
the oh man it. And then what did they start adding in like seasonal outfits like Santa Claus winter hat gear
You know,
and it's
in a
Did they do
Battlefield
that?
game? What?
in a Battlefield game.
Was it $20 a skin?
Right. That's crazy.
I think it was. Who knows how much it cost? Because I think it was like one of those Amazon Prime, like Twitch Prime things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but how do you whiff it so bad when everything was made for you to be successful?
Right.
That whole time period, that window of opportunity was so perfect. If they would have, but just taking out the destructibility alone. But yes, so back to the review. That was for at that time period in which I played it. If you guys go, I have all my stuff up, like Exo, I believe it's called X Phase or Exophase, or I forgot what the website's called, where you guys can go and look at my hours played and all that. I haven't touched Battlefield since, like, and they just, how do you, there's no way I should be playing anything other than Battlefield right now.
Right.
Yeah,
Because,
if they had had a good game, all they had to
yeah,
do was do what they had done every year
yeah,
in the past. But that
Yeah.
capitalism, baby.
oh,
we
yeah.
we actually had like a month, 2 months of episodes where we were buying into the hype of Battlefield. We were like, hey, what's going to be the better shooter? Halo, Vanguard,
Hmm.
Battlefield, and it was almost every time
Battlefield.
unanimous. Oh,
Yeah.
Battlefield's
Battlefield's
gonna
going to be
crush
the
it.
better
6.
one.
We
Yeah.
kept calling
Yeah,
it Battlefield 6. We didn't know what it's called
yeah.
yet.
Right.
We were excited about it.
I just wish they would have just remastered Battlefield 4. That would have been a better decision.
Any number of things.
Right,
They
Yeah,
you
could
made a
have
better
thrown
decision.
like spaghetti at the wall and come up with a better game plan
better. Yeah,
for this release. So bad.
the money grabbing aspect of it got
Mhm.
bad. And it just it makes you wonder, right? Like who's sitting down and deciding all of these? Like, come on, man. And speaking of the other
Right.
shooters, right? Like not pivoting away from my shame, but with Halo Infinite, right? I always say it on the Double XP podcast. Um I always say I was like I want to play what was supposed to release at launch. Like, oh did oh he was running point.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, I
Clint,
messed it up there. I just my camera being out of focus was bothering me so much, so I have to restart it,
yeah, just
Okay.
hit
and I'll just splice them together.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
All right, yeah, we're in here.
Hey, I knew what you were doing at the start of that, and legit, you did it so long. I thought, wow, is he frozen?
I have a like I feel like my spirit animal is a turtle. Um I when I used to be in the office at work, I would sit like be still so long the lights would cut off. Like
Oh, I know that
I
actually.
can definitely sit still for a while. People all the time like, Baron, you there? I'm like, yeah, I'm here. Like, oh, you weren't frozen? No, like just dialed in. Um,
Right.
but okay, back to it. So pivoting from my shame of Battlefield, um, Halo Infinite. I want a whole documentary around Halo Infinite. I need an entire documentary around that game. And I would watch every episode. I don't care who does it, Netflix, Peacock, whoever.
Good to
I'm
know. Yeah.
watching it.
Right.
Man, all of them. Because you got to think, we're still getting like a beta style introduction of stuff into this game. We still don't have every full aspect of Halo. At least with Battlefield, it launched in all of its shameful glory. But with Halo, we don't even have every aspect that was promised to be there once it launched,
Right.
or a few months after launch. And now, what are we? How many months since the game?
Several.
Yeah, like it's ridiculous. But my point is, I want to play the build that they were ready to launch at
Oh
launch.
gosh,
I want to play
Good
that
luck.
game.
the Craig build.
I want to play that game. I want to play that multiplayer. You know what really threw me off about that? And I talk crap about Halo, but I believe still for this year that is my most played game. Um, or was it last year? It might have been last year. But I was able to in a VR game that I on my Oculus Quest 2, I was able to bump into enemies and the game recognized that there was somebody
Mm-hmm.
behind me.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Thank you. So you get where I'm going with this. You
That's ludicrous.
you don't
And
even
that
have that in Halo.
yeah,
I
that
don't know how many times I went to melee somebody and they like fused into me, or like it's
the joining of two souls that missed melee attack.
Well,
oh
look.
my
Well,
gosh.
look. I'll probably cut this off the podcast because my 9-year-old loves Halo, so I can't let him hear
Oh, I'm
anything
sorry.
bad about the game. He
I,
loves Halo.
well,
I think it
no.
stinks. You know what I'm saying? He's like, "Hey, Dad,
We
come on, let's
played
play
it, didn't
Halo,"
we?
and I was like,
Yeah, we played it.
"Father,
But
sometime,
I
let's go."
but isn't the Halo Infinite the in my extremely limited Halo experience the exact same game as whatever other Halos there have been? That was my feeling as a complete noob to it. Also, I felt like Splitgate was just a better game, having recently played that.
Ooh.
And
Okay.
I played that like 2 days ago with my nephews.
I'm gonna say this. I have never been an Halo multiplayer person up until Halo Infinite. I remember back like Halo 2 days, it would be like the couch, couch co-op. Somebody come over looking for something to play, that. But never heavy duty getting into lobbies. Like never. That was never me. I was a Battlefield Bad Company guy or Mag or it just I like those style of games more than than Halo, and then of course Call of Duty mix that in.
We were all
And
Call of
that's
Duty
why
guys. I think Tony was the most Battlefield leaning.
Yeah.
let me tell you,
I went to go get my helicopter helmet, my real life helicopter helmet. When you started talking about Battlefield, that's how big a Battlefield fan I am.
But it got stolen out of the garage because you left the door open.
Apparently.
let me tell you what did it for me. What really turned like me into a Battlefield fanatic was I was in a building. I forget which one I was playing. I don't know if it was Bad Company 2 or Bad Company, but I was in a building sniping, and I had put C4 on like the main walls, and I heard it, at least I thought somebody was coming up the stairs, and I jumped off the building, blew it up, and remember it used to make that weird noise, and then the building come down, and got a kill as I left the building to get back to sniping more people. And I was just like, how is this all in one game? How did I and then get back to the fighting without any loading screens, without any cutscenes? It was just right back to it. How? And then how do you expect me to go back to here's a set small map? You guys kill each other as much as you want, or like who can get to the most? Like it just not that it felt. There's clearly a place for it, and the game is successful, and the game is fun because I play it, even though I don't think I played the last two Call of Duties. So you had Vanguard, and then what was the one before it?
Cold War.
Cold War, and before that was Modern Warfare, which is the Warzone one.
I believe I played a little bit of Cold War, or but I don't know the last two. I know for sure I haven't played Vanguard. Outside of the beta, I believe they put out on like PS4 or something. But dang, man, Battlefield was just. You remember when they added in the map altering moments when the mud wall? It was like a I don't know if it was a mud wall or a dam where the dam bursted and you like if you were in the area you got killed. Well, I was on an ATV and the wall was bursting and I was able to drive away from it as it's like this is all online in game and all of that is no longer in existence. Go play Battlefield 4, guys. Go buy all the DLC and play Battlefield 4.
The buildings that collapsed.
I played that. What year did that come out? Tony, would I have played that with you?
I don't think so.
No.
What was that, like 2013?
That was the first year of the PlayStation 4, so yes.
Yeah, because I didn't even get a PlayStation. So, I got the PlayStation Pro.
Every moment of your life is delineated by what console came out during that. It's like, okay, that was one plus one from PS4. It's like
that's literally how you found out when Outriders came out. Is you went from the console release date to figure it.
Oh man,
there should be like a calendar, a special calendar just based on
right.
There is, man. It's right up here in our noggins.
We are in year three, my lord, of Xbox Series. No. Yeah, of our console. No.
Right.
It's a new age. Every new age of humanity is based on the console.
At what
As
point,
you guys can tell, I'm a huge
at what
nerd.
point in the age you stop? At what point in the age do you stop saying the next generation console and start saying current gen or
I think with this generation we're going to be dealing with that all the way up until like a console refresh for both of them because of the fact that a lot of people, most like for example, most PS5s that are bought are in some scalper's house. Like it's not like everybody who wants a PS5 just has a PS5. That's not, and that's not a real thing. Most of them are sitting up in somebody's closet or somebody's open garage or like it's
not for long.
I mean, hey, let me go check.
Right.
Yeah, right. But I think that, and then the chip shortage, and then the fact that we're over a year, right? I'm not gonna lie; these last couple of years are a blur. Yeah. So are we over a year for these consoles?
November of 20.
Yeah, they came out in 20.
Yep.
Whoa, it does not feel that way. So Outriders has been out for like a year and a half.
Yep.
Yeah.
Holy
So
crap!
I haven't played Outriders since Tony told me they were taking it off of Game Pass. But did they take it off and add it back? Because I feel like I saw it on there because I hooked up my Xbox
I
the other day to play
hope it's still
Splitgate.
there because I'm not buying it.
Oh, I'm not buying it
Right.
either. I actually thought about playing it too.
Right.
Like when I was just, my nephew wanted to play Splitgate, and he always is on Xbox, and that's what we had played it on. So I hooked up the Series X that had been unplugged for months, and I
Mm.
was like going through, and I'm like, oh, Outriders. I should. No, not gonna do it. No thanks. Like I just thought, like immediately I went to the grind and like all the work it takes to kill something in that game. Like
Oh, the bullet sponges.
yeah, that's their in-game
That's
progression
all
was
they were,
not.
weren't they? All the
Yeah,
bosses
like
were bullet sponges.
that's
Right.
that's it. Like, and it was either you went super high DPS or you had to get like that mix of survivability and DPS. But when you had that, you couldn't
They
gold them,
they
because
they
of the
wanted to
time
go the
limits.
opposite of Destiny, where Destiny's their bosses aren't bullet sponges, but they're ridiculous like sequences of like,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
the whole team has to run around in a circle carrying a
Yeah,
ball,
grab
jumping
this
over
orb. Yeah.
trenches through tic-tac-toe mazes and then slam dunk the ball, at the exact same moment.
Yeah.
And then you get like a window of like 10 seconds to do as
Yeah,
much damage as you can.
that's the DPS. Yeah.
I'll say this. I had to put Destiny 2 down for no other reason than there are other video games to play.
I told these guys that I picked that up and I was unemployed, and I decided I did not have enough time to play that game. As an unemployed person, I did not have enough time to play Destiny 2. It's ridiculous to grind it.
I don't know what it is about the Destiny logo or the symbol Destiny, but it's got this like the silent siren call.
Mm-hmm.
Play me. You want to, right? Every time you scroll past it,
Right.
But then you
That's why
think about that
delete it from
grind.
your hard drive.
Right.
The
I
last time we
barely
talked about
uninstalled
this,
D1. I barely
Oh,
uninstalled
really?
Destiny 1. Barely. And I don't know what possessed me. I was scared like I was gonna lose something.
That's how I felt when I uninstalled Warzone, dude. And it was like
Ooh.
80% of my console storage
Oh
in that
yeah,
one game.
100%.
And I hadn't played it in like 2 months. I was like, all right, I'm just diving in. And once you know, I could actually play video games after I deleted that thing. That's crazy.
I had to put it away. For no other reason, not because it was bad, not because it was broken. It just there's so many other. I played Destiny wrong. So the same way I was playing 2042 wrong.
I accuse
I
many
played
people of playing things wrong, just so you don't.
No.
Slighted.
I know for a fact with Destiny, I play it in wrong. I would go into the Crucible with like green and blue weapons that I like retransmogged or whatever, like just to piss people off, because I know how much people care about the game.
Mm-hmm.
So to imagine getting killed by like a gray weapon in the Crucible, like I just know that since somebody definitely broke a controller, and it makes me feel good.
You sure it wasn't one of your teammates when you first got in the
Oh,
lobby?
when I'm loading up, they're like, "What is
Get
He's
out of
doing Trials
here,
of
dude!"
Osiris with a.
And it's just nothing but blue weapons. Like, what is your light level? Like, oh, bro, I'm all getting voted out everywhere. But yeah, and then I like to use like the weird weapons that for no reason other than just to hurt people's feelings. It's all scout rifles and like it just and it I used to, man, and then Iron Banner, Trials of Osiris. Only went to the lighthouse once, and that was because I got super carried. I don't do well under
I
like
used to
limited
have-
pressure like that.
I had a couple of buddies who were in the UK, and they could snipe. I could never snipe on Destiny because no matter what I did, the sensitivity was never right, and I had 1,000+ hours on that game. I'm sure never had the sensitivity feeling right on my controller. They did, and they would snipe, and I would run around with a shotgun, and we'd get it done pretty often. But it was, I still felt like it didn't matter if I got more kills, which didn't happen super often. I still would feel carried just because they'd be hitting those crazy snipes, one-shot headshots. But I was never getting that, I mean, with my, what was that, Fellwinter's Lie or whatever I'd have in my hands.
I got some advice for you, Clint, on that.
Is it get good?
Get good.
Did I take the wind out of your sails? It's okay, man. It's okay, old man. You'll get there someday.
Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad.
Just get good. It's like,
Just get good.
just don't die. No,
I hit
Don't
I hit the
die.
evil laugh button and it disappeared. I must have hit the X. So I don't know
Oh
if it played
Lord.
or not. Hold
Oh
on. Hey
Lord.
Tony,
Yeah, get good at that too, Clint.
get quicker on your insults.
Oh. Wah, wah, wah.
Baron, I want to bring us back to the level 1 gaming and the journalist aspect of what you're doing. And again, putting you on the spot, but hopefully this is just a little bit more lighthearted and fun for you.
Yeah.
For folks that are looking to get into video game journalism or anything of that sort, reviews or maybe even content creation, because you've kind of been around the block with all that stuff. What and we know kind of your story about getting into the journalism aspect, but do you have advice for like new people who are just entering, or people that have maybe a steady stream that want to start branching out, or anything of that sort for us and our listeners?
Yeah. So when it comes to the writing portion, always tell folks just start writing now. Get a free blog, or I don't know, get on Reddit, create a Reddit account, and just write and post, just to get a body of work. See if there's somebody out there, like I know us, Lv1gaming. There's a couple other sites out there that'll let you guest post, or that'll just take on people who, of course you got to have a sample. But just put it out there, get a body of work, get something to show someone, because it's always easier to get brought onto a team or to get hired on if you have something to show. Like, hey, this is what I can do, and I want to do it here. That's a lot easier than just going up to with no body of work. Hey, I can write. It's like, well, can you? Because it's that, and then reach out, not necessarily up. That's always a big issue people run into. You think you got to go out and immediately become internet associates or friends with the big names of whoever and wherever, and that usually doesn't work. But what works is when you find somebody who's got a similar goal as you, and they're kind of out next to you, like what we're doing now, the reaching out instead of up. It makes it a lot easier. Who knows where we're going to be 5 years from now? That whole, like, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? But that 5 years from now thing, it could be huge. You guys could be the next big thing. You know what I mean? Level 1 could be the next IGN. And now we got that connection that would have probably never happened if we were all trying to reach up. Like,
Right.
and don't, and be genuine. Don't, and sign on for only what you can do, and be honest with what you can do. The level 1 team, they'll tell you, I say no to a lot of stuff. I try to get out as much work as possible. They will. I am the communications director, and they'll tell you, like, oh, Baron, reach out and get this code. Okay, we got the code. All right, now review it. We need we need this by this, and I'm like, what? Like, but Baron, it's a brand new game. I don't want it. Like, I'm always trying to get out of work.
A man after my own heart.
Hey, I just keep it. It took a long time for me to hit that point of being completely honest with myself and not overexerting myself, because I have kids, wife, I got a 9 to 5. I still have a whole life in itself outside of this, and this has become a life of its own as well. And make sure your partner is involved, or people who care and love about you. Let them know. Like my mother, my father, my nephew, my kids, and my wife, they're here right now. I don't know if do you guys hear anything? I don't hear anything. My door's open a few times. My wife crawled in my office because she left something in here. Like, you got all of this happen while we were doing this, and but
Right.
that's because they know how serious this is to me, and they respect what I'm doing, and then they help me out, and I make sure to put in my husband, father, real life tokens. Like, hey, I'm not gonna be able to
Okay,
do
you
this
give
because
away
I
too
got.
much secrets. You give it away so we'll cut
Hey,
the
no,
podcast.
because the people
Not
need to.
yet,
Yeah, the
Not
people
yet.
need to hear this. Like,
Right.
they need to know that there's a whole life that goes into this, and
Right.
if you don't have a bunch of responsibilities, good for you. But make sure to still find that balance within it.
Right.
because what's not gonna do, that whole work hard, work hard, work hard. It's work smart,
Right.
work smarter. Try to make the most beneficial move, not necessarily, because I tried the whole streaming every day for 2, 3, 4 hours every day, streaming every free minute, posting a video every other day, 2 or 3 videos. I've tried that. Yeah, it brings on some level of satisfaction. You get the numbers every now and then, but can you keep it up? It's what's that whole thing? It's not what you can buy, it's what you can keep. What can if you can keep that up? Hey, if you're one of the Gary V's of the world, go for it. But what I always like to point out with Gary V is, and I really like what he talks about, is one thing that always catches my eye is I really don't see his family. As much as this man's on camera, think about that. As much as this man's in front of the camera, as much as this man's in front of people, I don't see his family. So that means something's got to give. I don't watch as much TV anymore.
Right.
I haven't watched I haven't finished The Mandalorian. I haven't watched any Moon Knight. I don't watch as many movies as I used to. Something's always gotta give, and I don't play as many games as I used to. Like I have to pick and choose. Lord forbid. Like what did I get into? I think I really got into No Man's Sky again, but then all of a sudden I got a big video game review. So then that took me away from it for about a week. And then all of a sudden something else comes out. And then Elden Ring. And then, like
Right.
so always tell folks it's a balance. Something's gotta give. And make sure to put into your real life and find you people who and keep people involved in what you're doing so you're not just shelled up in a bubble. Because it can get lonely and you'll want to quit.
Yeah, like it's funny you say that because like like Tony and I, we were in Boston and I said it was the first time I've been in the hotel room and the TV never came on because we was constantly doing something, constantly just seeing what we could just do better researching and stuff like that. So it was like it was like yeah, like you said, it's like there's nothing really important on that TV right now that's going to help the situation right now. What we trying to accomplish. So.
When I got back from PAX within 2 days, I think we put up almost 30 videos. Like
that's so crazy.
That's ridiculous. That's some people's year.
Right.
Like that's legit some people's year. You think some people get out a video a week.
Yeah.
Were they the cleanest cut, best edited? Hell no. But they're out. Because for me, I'm the person on the team who's like, done is way better than perfect. Just get it out. Just at some level, you have to just get it out. Because I've got so much content shelved from back in the day because I was just, I don't know about that. Just get it out. Let people consume it. You never know what's going to hit unless you put it out there for people to consume. Because my biggest video on my personal outside of level 1, my biggest video was the one that I thought nobody would watch, and I did it on a whim. I did it. It was more of like a journaling thing, and it still to this day gets watched. And it's funny because every time a new season of Marvelous Miss Maisel gets announced, I get an uptick in views on the video. Crazy, like it just.
That's like the dumbest video I put up on YouTube one of the very first ones I ever did.
Tell him about this.
Right? It's the Destiny video from Destiny 1. And it was right when the game came out. And all I did was edit the clips of like the different voices based on which race you picked. And just like, if you pick this race, this is what it sounds like. If you pick this race, this is what it sounds like. Like three different male voices or whatever. That thing has like 90-something thousand. What? That's the silliest video.
Right.
But that's what I try to tell people all the time. I was like, you got to let the world. It's for the world. It's not for you. Now you do. There are projects that are for you. I release those. I have a whole journaling series that I need to get back to. It's called my journey through my backlog, or my backlog adventures, or something like that. it kind of sounds sexual, but it's not, I promise. And
I don't believe you.
But
Is
it's
someone else gonna be busting out their bedroom voice on this podcast
right,
now?
Right,
like,
I was gonna say right,
you know,
right, the bedroom voice, right,
right. But no, but I put that out. That's a thing for me to not just keep me on track, but just kind of put it on paper so you can see where my head was at and what was going on in that time and what because all of this stuff for me is kind of like a weird immortalization of me. Like my kids don't have to guess who I am. There's probably like over 1,000 hours of my voice and face and what made me happy, what made me angry, what it's out there. Like what was my dad excited about? Holding my kids, like sitting here on camera talking. Like there's so much of that. They don't really have to get, as long as like Google doesn't completely destroy itself.
Their
They can
stock price is
just
down $600 a share.
oh
So you know.
look, but right tanking. Go to the water, get rid of the cord, cut the cord. But no, it's oh man, yeah. This stuff is crazy. It's a weird journey. I did not see myself getting here. Like, but younger me would be so like hype. Like, you review video games? Like, people send you games, and it's like, yeah, like,
yeah.
it's
Do
weird.
you have old friends from your old friend circles and family members and what are you up to nowadays? And you tell them,
Yeah,
and they probably have that
yeah.
reaction.
So let me tell you, one of the coolest moments for me, big highlight, was we got to interview the global voice of E Network, Lv1gaming. She is the voice of Layla Ellison on Redfall, and we got her on. And funny enough, she was like, "You were the first person to hit me up." As soon as we wanted to find out who the voice actress was and the mocap actress, we got her on, and that was that first moment where my mom was like, "Oh." Like I gotta, not the reviews, not the, sitting in meetings with Samsung. No, 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 no. The global voice of E Network. Like, oh, I was like, yeah, she sat and spent the hour with us, talked about
Nice.
how she played side characters on Red Dead Redemption 2. No big deal. But moments like that is pretty cool. And then now seeing how my family respects it more. Like it went from like a hobby to, oh, you just sitting in your office all day, to, oh, do you got any meetings today? Like it's been a shift. And now my mom will send me tips like, hey, you should try this. And I was like, yeah, all right. Outside looking in, who knows? But it just, it's pretty cool.
Man, I'm
And
so glad you said that, man. Cause yesterday I was helping. Well, my dad was helping me uh, put the fence up. Storm came through like that. But the whole time it's like, checking my phone. Checking your emails, and we email it back and forth with dad. Like, man, you taking a lot of breaks. I'm busy working. Okay, I'm
uh-huh.
working. So now I'm trying to explain to him, what we do. Why do we went to Boston? He's like, people do that in video games. Yes. I'm
Uh-huh.
trying to work. Okay, I'm trying to work. I'm trying to talk to Tony and Clint. I'm trying to talk to Baron. Yes. What you need? You need a hammer, huh? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like you said,
Yeah.
So like you say, who knows in 5 years? Now he's looking okay. All right, son, respectable. But
Yeah.
right now he's looking like, you need to stay. You need to stay at your job. You need to stay at your 9 to 5 right now. You know what
Yeah.
I'm
And
saying?
let me get on that, because a lot of people think you have to like drop everything and jump into this. At least for me, I still have a complete 9 to 5. Now, my 9 to 5 gives me the space to do this. I push papers for a living, so this is within the wheelhouse. I can do this without completely having to walk away from it. But I always tell folks, do what you can. And if you can consistently do something every so often, do that. Don't overkill yourself. Don't quit your job if you don't have to, or if it ain't miserable. Like, people try to throw everything, and then start on the lower end of stuff. Some stuff you can't go cheap on. Like, get you a decent computer that's going to get you 5-10 years. I'm not a graphics junkie. So for me, this 1060 or this 2060 super graphics card is probably going to be with me till my kids are like in middle school, high school. They're 5 and 4, and then I got another one on the way. But
Hey, congratulations.
oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey,
Tony, I'm way
Doing
better
it.
at the applause thing than you are. I'm just
I
saying.
see that.
The
We can have
timing is
we can
impeccable.
delegate the buttons to you in future episodes.
Soundboard. No, I
Right.
love it. I love it. But no, like always, certain things, 1,500 bucks is expensive, but that'll get you a rig that'll carry you for a very long time. Don't be afraid when it comes to certain things like monitors and whatnot, offer up and all this other stuff. I'm using a webcam. I wish you guys could see it. Like my camera's pretty decent, but it's a webcam. It's the $60, $80. I think it's like $80 after taxes and everything. $80 webcam. Get you some Amazon lighting. Like
You
don't
listen to that, Clint? The webcam.
All I can think of every time we talk about graphics or webcam is that I am so washed out on this webcam right now. I look like Casper, and I've already turned off one of the lights, and I'm going to turn off another light. Okay, just bear with me. I'm just gonna lean
after
over
the
here.
show. After the show, seriously, I'll sit down and go through all this with you. Like we'll walk through it because I love doing this. Because I used to struggle so much because I was running off a laptop. I used to run everything through a laptop, HDMI cord to a capture card, to a splitter to a capture card,
Mm.
and then I used to run play my games off my TV and then all my other stuff on another monitor. Now I got two monitors, but
I think
in
it's
a
that.
rig.
I think it's the green screen isn't helping because it's just bright green and I'm pale. And then
We're,
when
we
Vance
got
has it on Twitch, it doesn't look this bad on Twitch though. It like Twitch
it.
has something active in it that is leveling me out.
Well, I'm gonna tell you the program you guys are using, the software. Is it software program? I don't know. This it enhances. I had to actually lower my lights. Anytime I come onto Zencaster, I have to lower my lights. Because normally it's like, watch just for those you guys can't see this, but no, that's not it. That's not it. There we go. So normally, like, see,
Oh yeah,
this
you're
is
way brighter.
yeah. I have to always lower it to
I'm gonna
the
use that to
lowest setting.
catfish some people. That when
Oh,
they see you in person, like, ooh, you a little dark in
but I
person.
always
Don't
have
worry
to
about it.
lower
Don't
it
worry about
in order to get here, right? But I
Right.
always tell folks don't go broke doing this because you may hate it. Like I streaming is fun, but it's something I gotta really be in the mindset to do.
Right.
That's
And
exactly how I feel, dude. I don't have the energy for it. I've done it in the past and I, enjoyed myself when I was doing it at the time, but
mhm,
now it seems like such a burden. Like I
yeah,
got to carry these people with me through this game. I have to like say words and think
yeah.
thoughts because the reason I'm playing the video game is so I don't have to do those things.
And some people can do that. Some people, I envy those folks. I wish I was that good or that big of a personality to where I could just boot up, go live, and be like, "Hey, oh, that's funny."
Right.
I was getting
Like
real how you doing vibes coming off you just then.
yeah,
Right.
no, because I envy those people. I don't, it's envy. I am real envious of those folks because if I could do that, I would be streaming now as we're podcasting because it would just be like a camera here. And I used to have to get okay. Oh, whew. I used to do what did I call it? Something Thursdays because I used to do a news update every week for the YouTube channel for the Level 1 YouTube channel, and I would write an article and then I would do like oh hi guys, this is BaronJ67 with Level 1 Gaming and this is this week's news, and I would go through and do the whole like news update. Well, I would do all of that from beginning to end, writing to rendering, all while live streaming. So people would see me working through the whole process and people actually came and watched. This is what I always tell folks: if you got the energy to stream, just do it because people want to see it. There's no part of like people want to see it. People would watch me write up a script, record the script, upload the script or upload the video, edit it, add backgrounds and this and that, and then watch me type up the article. People would sit there for hours and just watch me do it. So I always tell folks, once again, as long as it's not illegal or immoral, have fun with it. Like,
Yeah, there's other websites for that stuff.
Yeah, that stuff is there. There's definitely specific sites, but as we've seen on Twitch, that stuff is starting to merge. But that's a whole other story in itself.
Next time you'll have to join us for our hot tub stream. Actually,
Oh yeah. Look, I don't have enough room in here for that. It might be a hot mug.
Right.
We'll both fly to, we'll fly to Nashville. Tony's got a hot tub.
Hey, it's a party.
It's a party, right? It's a party. Oh, man. Yeah.
Gaming. So what are you guys playing? Because I like, what are you guys playing right now?
Elden Ring. That's what I'm playing. Elden Ring. I used to be a 2K junkie, and I deleted 2K off. I'm like,
whoa.
I used to be heavy on 2K. Heavy.
It's a big transition for Vance because he is not a single player.
I do not play single player games. Yeah, it's always multiplayer. Call of Duty, 2K. I started with Halo, and then it was a little too futuristic for me from the 360. They was like, "Well, try Call of Duty." Never looked back, but yeah, these guys like, "Yo, Elden Ring." I said, "Okay." All right, and then I met guys on 2K that was leaving 2K. Like, man, 2K suck. I'm gonna play Elden Ring. Really? Like, we've been playing 2K since 19. Yo, they said go get it. Stop mid game with the Best Buy. I need Elden Ring right now. Put it in. Oh my god, look at the graphics. Oh, I love it. I love it, man.
Baron, I have to tell you about this event because I know Vance very well, and we have had so many discussions. Vance does not play single player. Okay, Vance also doesn't build in Fortnite. Right? There are lots of absolutes about gaming when it comes to Vance that I am well aware of.
Yeah.
I got a phone call, 10 o'clock at night, and it's my boy Vance, and he's like, "Hey, so I got Elden Ring," and I'm immediately a little I'm happy, but cautiously happy because Elden Ring is not an easy game, especially for a first time single player thing. And he's asking me what character to do and all this, and then I'm watching his stream and trying to talk to him about some of the stuff that's happening. And I was so excited that he's branching out, and the game is phenomenal. But then I was so nervous for him that he would have gone and spent this money and invested this time in this game that he was going to bail on right away. But he's still in it, man. He's trucking along. I'm proud of him for it.
Yeah. And then what's crazy is going to PAX East, I told Tony and Clint, blew my mind. There was one screen that had Vanguard, a handful of screens that had Elden Ring. There was no 2K.
2K wasn't there at any
2K was
way, shape, or form
at all. So you think you're a gamer just because you be on console, whatever, for 10 years, 15 years. Oh yeah, I'm a gamer. And then you go and you don't know anything. And these people know developers, they know artists, they know who did the music, the composer. I'm looking at $30 dice. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking $80 board games, and I'm like, what?
Yeah,
it blew my mind. And it's now it's I'm just, man, okay, let me see what's on Steam that I can play for free. Get my hands wet a little bit with the ASDW real quick. Man, I'm sitting there struggling at the demos. With the keyboard. The exhibitors right there. Push Q, push R, push E, and I'm over here struggling. Oh my god, what a controller. But
I love it.
But it blew my mind though. Blew my mind.
It's so crazy because I try to explain to folks. I was like, the majority of people who are playing games they play the way you used to play, like the 2K, in 2K, maybe another sports game, mix in Madden or FIFA, and then Call of Duty, and that random title like this year it'd be Elden Ring, that's all most people are playing. What trips me out though, and what I love bothering people about is, at least for me, 2K and FIFA, and now even MLB The Show, because I kind of started playing it. Those are just RPGs, and people hate when I do that. I'm like, they're RPGs. They're like, what do you mean? I was like, you are literally going through scenarios over and over to boost up your stats so that you can be better at it. And then you're putting up your character against somebody else's character to see who's better. These are RPGs and then the new 2K is borderline an MMO with the way they got the world set up with the I was like, what do you're buying skins to make your character look better. Remember, I swear 2K used to have it to where when you bought shoes it would boost your stats, certain apparel I don't think they do that anymore, do they?
No, they just actually brought that back this year. They literally just brought that back.
Really?
Yeah,
I used
yeah,
to love that. I was like,
yeah,
oh, I got to
yeah,
get these J's so my jump ability would be up.
yeah.
But not. I play these sports games, and people hate when I download them because I usually disappear for a while. I play 2K and FIFA like hardcore RPGs. I go into the career mode, start from the beginning, and just run it all the way as much as I can. Build up my character as high as I can. Get on the club or the team that I want to be a part of. Go Arsenal, but it just it's I treat them like diehard RPGs. I do not play multiplayer at all, and I will put mad hours into a sports game like that. So it's funny.
Yeah,
It's
we got a
crazy.
homeboy like that. He actually works with us, and he plays GMO. Like, yeah, and he builds his team.
Ooh,
He calls it Nashville, builds his team, and I'm like, you don't play multiplayer? And he's like, no,
I
don't even,
refuse. I
right,
refuse to
right,
go to
don't
the
even
court.
think about it. I'm like,
Do you know
really?
why? You probably don't want to do it for the same reason I don't want to do it, which we've already touched on this episode, which is they're playing it wrong. Right?
Yeah. Oh, and then now with the way it's set up, you're really competing, and then you're competing against money. Like who wanted to drop $100 up front to get
Pay
their
to play,
character
right,
maxed out?
right.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm not gonna do that. Now, if there was some like level, like if it was like pure skill, I'd still wouldn't play because I'm trash. I'm a button masher at heart, and I really am. That's why I was shocked I beat Elden Ring. But even though I did cheese a few of the bosses, and then I did have to get help at the end, I almost put the game down. I was like, all right, you guys can go in my tweets and you'll see it. I was like, I'm quitting unless I can get help. And then I came across help, and I was because that was the first SquareSoft. Wow, the first FromSoft game I've beaten, and I've put mad hours into Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls. I even put a lot of hours into Dark Souls 3. I even rebought Dark Souls on my Switch. Like, I've put hours into these games, but this is the first one that I beat.
Mm.
It's
Yeah,
a it's a crazy game, man.
their titles definitely test your persistence level.
Yeah. Stubborn people. It's made for stubborn people. This is like the cat scratch of like games. Like it's like, hey, you know, you want to try again? You
Right.
want to try again?
Man, let
You
me
want to
tell you
try
something.
again?
I done lost so many ruins just by walking away. I'm just like, you
Ooh,
know what? Like I was telling Tony,
ooh,
like I had to fight the dude in the desert. I'm like, I summoned
oh.
everybody.
Radon,
Yeah,
right?
everybody. And I'm
His
like,
poor little
okay, he's
horse.
beat me 20 times. And it's funny because, like, I'm trying to be serious, but I'm laughing at the same time because this dude, like a 50-foot giant on his little mule riding around in the desert. You like,
Oh,
yo, like, how's this even
feet
possible?
dragging
Right, yeah, he's, just running
out there
around.
looking
I'm
like
like,
Donkey
oh my
Kong.
God, right, yeah. I was just like, oh
Baron,
my
he hasn't
God.
seen the fire giant yet.
So
Oh, I'm
We were
sorry.
trying to
Yeah.
explain to him how huge he was.
The
He's
fire
talking
giant makes Radon look small.
so small, dude.
What?
Yeah.
See?
And
Oh
then
my
he's
God.
annoying, and I almost quit. Let me tell you all the places I almost quit. Radon, um, not Radon, no, I actually beat him on the second go around.
Mm.
Um, what was that dude's name? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. The fire giant, Marjat or Margit,
The
um,
first one,
the first one,
Margit, yeah.
yeah, Margit, and then there was
Godskin
there's a
duo.
the Godskin duo. Yep, there you go.
oh
The
god.
I legit had to go onto like a thread looking for sweaties to come in and help me because I let me tell you how serious I took that moment. I went through the whole Age of Stars cycle to unlock Black Knife Tish just to try to beat the Godskin duo to go get that summon. No, I went and got the mimic and black the Black Knife Tish just to try to beat the Godskin duo.
Right. So just saying, this topic deserves a whole podcast on its own. The places I almost quit Elden Ring.
That's a good topic. That's a good
That
topic.
would be a good show.
I'm gonna tell you right now that if you enjoy your playthrough, whatever, like I played through Elden Ring so many times, and it would be a point of pride for me to prepare myself appropriately before going into these fights. Like I'd be so excited when I get Verdon first try or Fire Giant first try or all these things. Like it was like this, it was like winning a game of Warzone. Like I
Mm.
I calculated my needs. I made the right decisions. I anticipated the moves. I had the right gear, the right levels, the right armor, all that stuff, and I did it first try. So that playthrough, I was undefeated. Doesn't matter that he killed me 200 times. That
Nope, doesn't matter.
playthrough, I was undefeated. Right? That's what mattered to me.
Clint, I had a moment the other day that uh, I was made to feel bad, kind of like when we're always podcasting together. But
Sounds about right.
playing Elden Ring. I've yet to beat it. I've beaten some of the other titles from the Demon Souls, the Sony exclusive one. I can't
Bloodborne.
remember what's
Oh,
called.
Bloodborne. Yeah,
Bloodborne.
you're right, Clint.
Beating that one. So I'm not a stranger to From Software titles, and I am having the most difficult time right now with Black Blade Malekith or whatever,
Oh yeah.
because he won't hold still for me. I'm playing this melee character. He won't hold still for me.
Okay.
Don't tell me how to beat him.
Okay. Never
Don't
mind.
tell me
Okay.
how to beat him.
I was just about to say,
If
you
I
were
was
probably
just
gonna
gonna
say the
give
same
words
thing.
of encouragement, I would never
Oh, no.
spoil
But-
it.
Swinging.
Ever.
One of the guys at work who's never played a From Software title at all, never, comes into me. He says, "Where you're at, Black Blade,"
Giggity? Are you giggiting over there?
and he says, "Oh, I just fought that guy." I'm like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "Yeah, I beat him on my first try."
Yeah, 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 yeah. Uh, no. You know what? This game, I could imagine this like shaming people out of playing it or continue because I know I got shamed out of Animal Crossing. Like when people like I made a mistake of going to Pinterest and then going to like Twitter, the Animal Crossing Twitter. I got shamed out of that game. People are like, "Oh, you have you got apples as your starting fruit." I was like, they're like, those are the people who live on your island. I was like, whoa, what color is your airport? Like, I was like, are you serious? And they're like, yeah. Like, I got so embarrassed. I went and dug up all my fruit trees and went to another island and took all of their fruit trees and brought them back and planted. Like, but beside the point, I could see people like I don't recommend this game to people. When people ask me, if you have to ask me, should you play Elden Ring? My answer is always no. Always. If you have to ask, the answer is no. I don't want you going and spending $60, $70, or whatever, and fighting to return it because you're getting mollywopped and thrown across the room over and over and over and over
Man,
and
right.
over. And you're just trying to
I wouldn't
cast
know
a
anything
spell.
about that. Just run right
Yeah.
through that game. No problem.
Yeah, like I usually try to tell people to avoid it. Like, please don't do it to yourself. Like, go watch enough videos. Go spend $10 and get one of the older titles. Just try that out first,
When you
just to
tell
see
them
if
to go
you.
watch videos, have them watch the no-hit videos just so they know they're trash.
Oh, I love the ones they cut like cinematics, like where it looks like a movie. Like
Yeah.
those are. Oh, I'm
That
like,
was
look at this
like
fight.
when we were at PAX East, they had the Elden Ring speed run on the big screen in the middle of the show floor at the Intel booth, and the guy is on the horse, and the horse is flying through the air, and
Catch that.
I looked at Vance and I was like, "My horse doesn't do that."
My
Yeah,
horse
like,
don't do that either.
like,
I mean, we
So
literally
what
like
they would do is like they'd go over to a ledge and then they would get off their horse to where they'd be falling off into the abyss and they'd quit out. And if they timed it correctly, they would respawn and their horse would just be standing there next to them. And then they could resummon their horse or whatever. And it like clipped it up out of the, like off the ground. It would clip it onto the air as a surface. And they would use that for these massive skips and go, that's the craziest is the zips. Have you guys seen those?
no, what's that?
So they take a weapon like a sword, and they would do the guard, like a shield guard, but you could do a guard with the sword as well. And there was something I think they were running macros on their mouse or whatever, and they would do like 1,000 blocks with the sword in however long, and they'd hold the button W to go forward, and if they timed it appropriately, they would literally shoot. And I'm talking they could shoot like that. Elden Ring map is like bigger than Skyrim, or I don't know. It's
It's
monstrous. It's
huge.
huge. They could literally go from like one side almost all the way to the other, or maybe they could go all the way to the other side if they timed it appropriately. But I saw a guy beat it in like 6 minutes and 59 seconds. He beat the entire game
That's
because he
crazy.
literally skipped the entire game. You know, he didn't do a single boss fight. I don't think, because he would zip into the Malekith fight, and there's 2 stages, and he would zip in and he'd zip out, and that would cause him to like die in the first phase. He'd zip out again, cause him to die in the second phase. He would like zip into the throne room that you end the game in, zip out, start the fight before the throne room, run away from the guy for a second, save quit, and he spawns right back in front of the pedestal that you get when you beat the game. It was like, why did you do that? And why did I watch that? Like, you didn't even
And-
play the game.
Right.
And how did you find this out? Like, what I want to see. I want to
That's
see
the
what
amazing
it took.
part. That's
So
the amazing
zip glitches
part.
have existed in previous Souls games, but no one knew how to do them. So I guess if it was just the overwhelming amount of people playing Elden Ring, that it was enough of a base to like determine, oh, I did this and it happened, or I did that, and like, you know, community effort, they figured it out.
Oh, it's like the people who beat the Pokemon games on through Twitch chat. Like,
Oh yeah, stuff
just
is
crazy. Like community. Oh, I look at certain scenarios. I'm like, how? But I will say, watching like legit speedrunners will. It's like giving me like, oh, I could just move like that, or I could just pivot like that, or I could just jump this way. It
Spoiler
gives me a
alert.
new way.
No, you can't. Like they can
Right.
do it better than us. You know, that's the problem.
No, you're 1,000%. No, this is what. Okay, so Dark Souls 2. It took me. We were doing an event, a charity event for Extra Life, and I want to say I had like a 4-hour slot, and it took me 4 hours to get to like the Black Gulch or in Dark Souls 2. Why do I remember that? I watched a speedrunner and it infuriated me because I was like, well, why didn't I just think of that? Well, why didn't I just use that weapon?
Yeah.
Why didn't I just do that? And I got back to that same place in like an hour. Like,
The problem is, Baron, they are better human beings than us.
yeah, they're robots.
Right?
They're definitely a new breed.
That's the issue, is that they are better than us.
Yeah, they've definitely hit a whole new spectrum of humanity.
I talk a lot about getting good, kid. I don't really practice what I preach in that regard. I just kind of button mash. You know, that's kind of my thing too.
Magic spam and tumble roll.
Yeah. Tony,
No.
are you still playing Elden Ring?
Yeah.
Malekith, right?
What's that?
You're stuck on Malekith right now?
Well, I'm taking a break from Malekith.
Right.
It's
That's
not
what it is,
stuck.
taking a break.
Just taking a break.
Taking a break.
Oh, advance to make you feel make you feel better. I was farming, trying to get an extra level or two, in preparation for my Malekith fight, and I was doing it late at night. Made that mistake, and I needed 216,000 runes to level up to like 171 or something. And
Dude, I beat the
I
game
fell
at like
asleep.
level 100, Tony.
I fell asleep, right? I fell asleep and died. I'm like, okay, no, I'll go back and get him. Ran back, immediately fell asleep again, and lost him. So hopefully that makes you feel better. That's because I'm an old man, Baron. That's what happens.
Baron,
That's
Tony
great.
used to fall asleep while we would do Destiny strikes together. Like,
Oh,
we'd be playing them, and I would just realize that he wasn't near me on the screen. It wouldn't be that he hadn't talked in a while, because we would just be hanging out. We wouldn't necessarily be talking.
and then all of a sudden it's like, wait, hey.
I would just let him sleep most of the time. If
Yeah,
I needed him to come
if
forward to progress
if
something,
I
I'd
woke
wake
up
him
and we weren't done with the strike, and just say, Clint, we're not done yet. Come on.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm trying to look at how many hours I put into Destiny 2,
Okay.
and I haven't completed one raid in all of my time in Destiny. Yeah, it's because it was extremely too serious,
Yeah.
and it relied. I didn't have enough friends who were consistently playing at the time that I was playing, so I had to team up with randos, and it just never worked.
We've
And,
all felt your pain.
all it takes is like that one person to not do their part. Okay, so I got 211 hours on my Xbox version, and I no raid completed.
Mm,
Man,
mm.
rough, rough.
Well, people, I'm having a great time, and I hate to run,
Oh yeah.
but I gotta go take the kids to see Sonic 2. They've been asking me since it
Oh
dropped.
yeah,
Yeah,
Parenthood.
Parenthood. Yeah,
It probably is a
Sonic 2.
great time to get it off. It's been a fantastic having Baron on here.
Hey, we
Of
definitely
course.
gotta have you on again, man. Definitely gotta have
Oh
you on again
yeah.
for
This was
sure,
fun.
for sure.
Vance,
And I'm
do
gonna
you
have to
want to
get you
do
guys
the
on to level 1. I'm gonna have to get you guys over there.
Oh,
we
that would be awesome.
Oh
we are
yeah, oh
expert at being low level. Um,
yeah.
Vance, do you want to do the outro to match your intro, or do you want to throw it to the expert Tony over there?
We're gonna throw it to Tony. Tony has great outros. Hey,
Tony,
don't
you got to
use
do
your
some work
Baron
around here.
voice. Right,
Oh
right,
man, I was
right.
hoping to coast through this one.
Ah,
Yeah,
All right,
no coasting.
all right. Let me jump into it. All right, folks. Thanks again for joining us here on this episode of Good to Game Radio. It was a pleasure to have Baron from Level One Gaming. Hope to have him again. Be sure to check out their website, Level One Gaming. Check out all his articles and videos that he's put so much work and love into. I'm sure you appreciate them. It's a lot of work from where we've gone on there and looked and checked it out. But
hey,
again, we really appreciate. Go ahead.
real quick, sorry to interrupt you. I just called you out on that review, but I went through quite a bit of the content you had on there, really well written, and the amount of effort that went into those, and just going through and breaking down all the different things and the time that would have taken. I appreciated it. I mean, it was excellent content in that regard. Uh, you know, Battlefield 2042 just sucks.
Yeah, it does. Thank you. I really appreciate that. That means a lot. I really appreciate that.
Back to
Right.
you, Tony. Sorry, bud.
No, you're good. Also, you have your own website, own podcast, right? Is it Double XP?
No, so that's Level 1 gaming. So all the podcasts that I'm a part of on a regular basis now, I took all my stuff and merged it over with LV1 gaming. So lv1gaming.com is where our news is, and then our YouTube channel is youtube.com/lv1gaming20, the number 20. We have weekly podcasts. Wednesdays double XP, or well, Tuesdays we have Cogs in the Machine. Wednesdays is our flagship show, Double XP, and that's 5 p.m. PST. Saturday or Sunday evenings we have Starcross Gamers with me and Johnny Man, where we kind of just rant and like we claim there's structure there, but it really isn't any structure. We kind of just go,
If it
go.
wasn't for mostly Tony, every podcast that I've been a part of would be exactly what you just described.
Pretty much.
This is why you need a team. This is why I always tell people, get a team. But yes, there you go. That's all my and Twitter at LV1gaming.
And Baron, are these all live on Twitch as well, or is
Yeah,
it
actually
just okay?
they are live on Twitch as well. Twitch.tv/LV1_gaming. But for the most part, you type in LV1 gaming and all of our stuff pops up. We kind of got that on lock.
Okay.
The SEO is nice to us.
Nice,
Awesome.
nice.
Awesome. So again, follow us on Instagram, Good to Game Radio, or follow us on our new Twitch channel, Good to Game Radio, where you'll find us there too. Anyway, thanks again for joining us. We really appreciate you,
Yes, sir.
and we'll catch you guys later.
Later, dudes.
Later.
Bye.